when crossing the Atlantic was an 8-day cruise, not an 8-hour flight. And the world's fastest ships competed for the blue ribbon for the quickest crossing. One of the survivors of those days is the SS France, now renamed the Norway, and the ticket climbed aboard. The SS Norway has docked in the port of Le Havre in France as part of her transatlantic crossing. The 350-meter ship is almost 40 years old and still going strong, partly due to a refit in 1980, when, then known as the SS France, she was taken on by the Norwegians to be rechristened Norway. Texan-born Scott Himby has been with the ship for 9 years and is now the Norway's chief purser. He kindly offered to take the ticket on a special tour of his pride and joy.
The exciting thing about the Norway is the simple fact it does have a history. Many of the new cruise ships are just that, new cruise ships with no history. The Norway is steeped in history with all of the remnants of the France, such as things in the dining room. The murals are still the same. Club International is still built the same. It was not altered. So when you go into those rooms, it kind of draws you back in time to when it was the France. It's the only way to vacation. You unpack your bags once and you get to travel, relax, visit various ports of call, some exotic, some historic ports of call, and the transatlantic crossing is especially nice because it does bring back that era. We have a clientele which enjoys dressing up at night and going for the formal dinners and dancing in the Club International and dancing to the big band sounds. So that does bring you back in time. This is the international deck. Again, this is Champs-Élysées. Fifth Avenue is on the opposite side of the ship. It used to be the first-class promenade, and they enclosed it, put in the shopping areas and the various lounges on board. Welcome to the sun deck pool area. The swimming pool to my right here is a swimming pool that was placed when it was converted to the Norway. The cabins which surround me here were inside cabins when it was built as the SS France. But to give these cabins a view, they built a protected courtyard here. When it was converted to the Norway back in 1980, the architects decided instead of ridding these cabins of a view, they would put a pool in here. So this is the sun deck pool, and the cabins here now have the strange view of people's feet in the portholes of the pool. I brought you out on Olympic deck. This is our basketball court. It also serves as our volleyball court for all of our sports activities. And I also wanted you to see the pool deck below us here. Now, these are trademarks of our Caribbean cruises. We are very sports-oriented in our activities. And of course, when you're on a Caribbean cruise, the sun is very important. And when they converted the ship, they expanded the decks over the side here to give us more sun deck space. We also have an outdoor restaurant here. These are very popular during the cruises for our Caribbean sailings. There's no saluting on a cruise ship. It's not a military ship. We do have protocol and we do wear uniforms. However, there is no military affiliation with it. Having never been on the ocean, never seen a cruise ship before in my life, the only images I had were those of old movies back in the United States, and the Norway certainly fits that ideal. It's a true steamship. It's a true ship. It's not like the floating hotels that are box-like that we now see on the high seas. She is truly a ship, and the feeling was just something that's difficult to describe because it was so awesome to me.
Thanks to Scott, and we'll be returning to the luxury of the Norway in tomorrow's program.
Yes, meanwhile, back here on dry land, it's time for some music as our guide to Europe's top concerts.
Now, we continue our tour of the luxury liner, the Norway, one of the last ships surviving from the golden era of sea travel. And what cruise ship would be complete without its own cabaret? We've been finding out what life is like for Jane Powell, one of the stars of the Norway. The cruise liner SS Norway offers passengers a life of luxury. As well as giving holidaymakers the chance to relax, get some sun and breathe the fresh ocean air, staff on the ship have to keep everyone entertained. One such entertainer is jazz singer Jane Powell, who has been performing on cruise liners for over 8 years. Jane is one of America's top artists in her field, but despite her fame, she's very content to lead a somewhat quieter life on the high seas. She gave the ticket a look at the ship through her eyes.
Ta-da! The beautiful Saga Theater on the SS Norway. It's like the old days right here, because they don't build theaters like this anymore. And right here on a ship, can you imagine? I had one show at 8:45. Now, it's supposed to last for 45 minutes, but my feeling is it's going to last as long as people are feeling good, and if things are going, I'm not going to say, well, it's time to go. 45 minutes is up. I sing from some songs from Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, Tisket, a tasket, a brown and yellow basket. Now, in the United States, I'm considered probably one of the top jazz singers in the United States, but I always get requests for Amazing Grace. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound, and it saved a wretch just like me. Come follow me. I was lost, but now I am found. I was blind. Say hello to the people.
Well, bonjour.
Life is dead, gloom and misery is everywhere. Stormy weather.
Thank you for the great entertainment.
Oh, you're so welcome. Stormy weather, just can't get my poor self together. Keeps raining all the time since she went away. You know, when you're on a ship and you're sitting out on the deck, it's like you're surrounded by God. This is a fantasy. This is truly paradise. It's not the Love Boat like everybody says it is. No, that's not true. I've been on several ships, and it's not the Love Boat. They put pretty pictures of people in magazines on ships and pretty pictures on TV and movies. No, people look just like me, everyday people on cruise ships. It's right there all the time. All of the time. Thank you.
Good. Ah, you've got to love it. Life on the sea, that's for me.
What a poet.